What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Phillies lose 3 of 4 to the New York Mets. This is Agree to Disagree. Let's go. Let's go.
This ain't the fuck like oh, this game he stink.
Oh shit!
It's gone.
This is Agree to Disagree, only on HUD Radio every Sunday. We are brought to you by our doc, Make Him Yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, locations in Cherry Hill and Princeton, New Jersey. Find him on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Our doc, got to make him yours. He's really the best in the business. If you haven't checked him out, make sure you go do so. Again, Dr. Paul Vidal, specializedphysicaltherapy.com is where you can find him. As always, Greg Milakovic, Nick DelGozzo. No Brian Wilson tonight. He's on, some guys can vacation and still do shows. Other guys vacation and they can't make shows. I'm Tom Arnone on vacation making shows. Mine's a little extended. His is a week. That's what he would tell me. So that's what we're going to run with. We got a lot to talk. We got a lot to talk about today. At the end of the show, Crumb of the week. We'll talk Eagles' keys to success this season, and I have about 5 that are big keys to success, and I'm sure you guys got a few as well. And the family out there, make sure you give us yours later on in the show. Phillies lose series of Mets, 3 of 4, and today was a real heartbreaker, right? To be able to get that homer from Gene and take the lead after you've blown numerous leads in the baseball game. You're up 4-0, you blow that, you get a 7-4 lead, you blow that, you're able to take an 8-7 lead, and here we are, snake bitten by the bullpen, something we haven't said in a while. All right, we haven't said that in a long time here, but all that's going to tie into our poll question, brought to you by Manscaped, and you get 20% off and free shipping with the code A2D at manscaped.com. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. The weed whacker, the lawnmower, the ball deodorant, the lip balm, the regular deodorant, the 2-in-1 shampoo conditioner, the body wash, the boxers. Go use our promo code A2D and get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Our poll question for tonight's show. With the recent losses of Seranthony, Dominguez, Corey Knebel, you are concerned with the Phillies' chances of making the playoffs. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, that's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcast, we're there as well. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, downloading, giving good reviews. I saw a guy today, didn't give a good review. HUD was unhappy with a joke in the group, and then these guys want to go throw the reviews around. So make sure you're giving good reviews, all right? Because we're here for you. So be here for us right back. All right, we rub you, you rub us. Win-win. This poll is a tough one, and it's tough because you're a game and a half up on Milwaukee still. I'm not scared of Milwaukee, right, or them to make a run per se. But with these 2 losses right now, like we knew Knebel was going to be out for a second. We didn't know for the season. Now you hear he's out for the season. You're like, that's a punch to the gut, because when you go out and get David Robertson, you're like, all right, we're extending what we already had. So we're only going to get better, right? We're adding more pieces to a puzzle that's been really good under Rob, really good when he started giving guys roles, okay? That being said, you lose Corey, you're like, all right, I don't love it, but Alvarado's pitched better, right? So like Alvarado, Robertson, Seranthony, that's 3 good guys to have at the back end of my pen right now, the way they've all been pitching. But then today you get the news, Seranthony, right? You hear the tightness, okay? So that's already concerning, especially coming back from Tommy John, and now he's on the IL. And then today happens, and you have to bring David back out on his 5th day now, I believe. Is his 5th straight game he's pitching, I believe? Somebody was saying. I could be wrong. But either way, you bring him back from 31 pitches yesterday. He pitched 2 innings yesterday, and you're forced to bring him back out there for this baseball game today, because you really have no other options for today. And you see, guy was tired, right? And this is where I think it's going to start biting you right now, because now the only two guys that we really trust at the back end, and I say that in a little air quote too, is Alvarado and Robertson with no Seranthony. There's really nothing else that you're going to really run out that we really trust. Some guys can get outs and whatever, but we're missing two big pieces at the back end of our bullpen. And I know people are going to tell me, well, Tom Bryce is coming back. We've had Bryce with bad bullpens. We've been down that road. We know how that story ends. Okay, we really do. We've seen us out hit, put up 8 runs. The next thing, how many games did we blow saves in over the last 2 seasons? Not even talking about the beginning of this one. So without somebody back there that I really trust, and I do trust Robertson, I do. Not as much as Seranthony, but I do. He's been a good pitcher in his career. And I'm beginning to trust Alvarado a little bit. We know how that goes with him. But with no Seranthony now, I don't know that. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. I really don't. I don't know how they're getting those outs. I mean, getting Bryce back is going to give them a big jolt. And usually I'm the homer, right? Usually I'm the guy that says, disagree. I'm not concerned. I'm big time concerned. Through all that little rant, I am big time concerned because I've watched this team have a really good offense with Bryce in it since he's been here for the most part, right? We could always swing it enough, but we weren't getting outs late in games. And we finally thought we had it with 4 guys in our pen that we said, you know what? These guys night in and night out, most of the time are doing their jobs, especially since Alvarado's come back from the minors, right? So when you had him, Corey in the 7th has been really good too. And it means you didn't have to go to Alvarado in the 7th either, right? When you had Corey there. So 7, 8, 9 was lined up pretty good. I mean, if you circle around baseball, that's pretty good, 7, 8, 9. And it stacks up to probably a lot of teams. Now losing 2 pieces of that, one for the year and the other for we don't know how long.
At least 2 weeks now, right?
Yeah. How does this baseball team overcome it? I don't know how they do, guys. Somebody sell me. I'll be the guy that goes disagree because I'm sure most people in the chat per se are gonna agree that with the recent losses of Seranthony and Corey, you are concerned with the Philly chance of making the playoffs. So I'm going to agree then.
You're agreeing.
Yeah, I'm agreeing. Sorry, that one got me tangled. Got tangled. We're back. Well, but yeah, I don't disagree to it. I agree.
Yeah,
I think I said I agree earlier. I don't know, right? I did say I agree earlier, and then I tried, and then I tangled it up.
Confused yourself.
Yeah, we're back. We're back. Then I fully agree. I'm big time concerned.
No, and you look at today's game too. We scored enough runs to win that game multiple times, right? Even being up 4-0, right? You should win that game, right? 4-0 should be a win. 7-4 should be a win, right? So you scored enough runs, to your point, right? You scored enough runs to win that game. I'm going to disagree, though. And Tommy, you made absolutely 1,000% correct points. I think this bullpen is in trouble because now you're looking at the Brogdons, the Coonrods, whoever this new guy is we brought up today. Like now they have to get outs, right? I did like Robertson, though, kind of nutting up and saying, hey, if we're a lead and I want the ball, even though he was a shell of himself today. I like that from a veteran. I like that from a guy who knows that we're shorthanded in the bullpen. And once we got the lead saying, hey, give me the ball, we're pretty much our best chance of holding this lead is me, even at 50%, right? And then obviously Thompson pulled him out right after he gave up the home run to preserve him and stuff like that. But I'm going to err on the side of our upcoming schedule being very weak, and hopefully that the likes of playing 4 games against the Reds, 3 games against the Pirates, 7 games upcoming against the Nationals, 3 more against the Cubs and the D-backs. I'm going to err on those teams, regardless of whether we're home or away, being the majority of what we have left as a reason why we can still make the playoffs. I also am standing though. I want the 3rd playoff spot, or I want the 3rd wild card spot. I don't want anything to do with number 2. I want to play that winner of the Central Division. I know it's going to be the Cards because the Brewers. I agree, Tommy. Don't trust the Brewers, but I'd rather play the Cards round 1. I'd rather play the Cards than play the Braves or the Padres.
Careful. I'd rather play the Padres. You're fucking
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
Well, the Padres, right. The way they're playing right now, yes.
You don't want any Brave smoke. So
No, not at all.
I understand that. Lick the envelope, send it in. Absolutely. And we talk about it all the time, and it probably pains people that can't just talk normal and be honest. You know what I mean? Like, Philly fans. You know what I mean? The Braves are fantastic. All right, and just a fantastic organization. It's mind-boggling. All right. Now, don't have a lot of championships, so they're borderline fantastic, borderline. Never they haven't cashed enough tickets. Now they cashed one last year. Don't get me wrong, but over the years with all the greatness, they haven't cashed enough. So a lot of underachieving also. But you'll take that. All right. It should remind Philly fans, and I don't want to throw any salt in the wounds here of the DNAB years. You know what I mean? You guaranteed 12 wins. That's a lot of fun. All right. You get a ticket to the dance. You didn't win nothing. You're 12-4, and you get a chance to party. You know what I mean? But you didn't win nothing. So that's just from that end. Sorry about that little rant there.
No, yeah.
Yeah. So you don't want nothing in the Braves. It's just every guy they bring up. It's a magic potion. It's just incredible. Absolutely. It's just incredible. Michael Harris.
Listen, on paper, if you put a gun to my head and said Braves or Mets, right? Like right now, if you put a gun to my head on paper, I would probably say, hey, I'd rather see the Mets. But this year specifically, I want nothing to do with them because they're literally our daddy right now, where we've at least been 6-6 against the Braves. Braves are very well. Yeah, Braves are better than the Mets. Let me just be clear with everybody. And I think a lot better than the Mets, right? Sometimes it's just matchups. Sometimes you just can't get over. You can't beat somebody. That's why I want no parts of the Cardinals. I'll miss the Cardinals in the playoffs, please. I don't, because that's been my daddy in the playoffs too, right? I can say that's been a daddy the last time I was there, essentially. So I don't care who I play. Honestly, I'm not even in that game because I just want to be in it. I haven't even tasted it. We haven't tasted it in so long. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that who I'm facing. Just get me in. Give me a chance, because at least I know. And then they didn't pitch like aces, this past series, but Wheeler and Noel are two pretty good arms to be able to run out there in a series. So I'm always going in the game feeling good. Now I'm going to face somebody else and I'm feeling good about. That's why but I don't even know, because the Mets don't hit for the ground. But listen, right now we should want to avoid anybody would be the Mets just because of how they play versus us. Yes. But in reality, I would much rather not see the Braves and play the Mets or the Cardinals, to be honest with you, or the Mets and Padres. Right, Mets or Padres, because I think those two teams are more beatable. But the way the Mets that we play against the Mets, I want no parts of them. So a gun to my head, I'll probably say Padres right now. I'd probably rather see the Padres out of everybody. And I know that's probably a little crazy because on paper they seem delicious on paper, but they haven't put it together yet. Yeah. So give me them. Don't give me any parts of the Cardinals because they've been hot. This is my dad said the other night again, like he says every year. Every year they do this. I said it doesn't matter. It's what they do. It's what they do.
You're right. You're absolutely
right. But yeah, I mean, so I'm not even there yet. Let's get in there. But I don't care about 1, 2, or 3. Just get me in, and I got a chance. We know how postseason baseball goes, because right, if I get some guys that get scorching hot in the postseason, guess what? I'm probably advancing. I'm probably living to play another day. But the Braves to me are outside the Dodgers. They're the best team. They're 1A, 1B are the best teams in the NL. I don't care what records say. The sweeps is a little point. I'm going to follow it up as a Phillies fan, and I hate to say it. They're better than the Mets. It's just when we play them, we play them better than we play the Mets.
Yeah. And
here, down there we stink.
Yeah, and they might run them down. You know what I mean? They're today we've the Braves lost, and then obviously the Mets pulled out. Pulled that bullshit out of their head. So I think it's back to 4. You know what I mean? But it was very very close to being 2. You know what I mean? So that was that's still a pennant race. That's still a division pennant race for them too. You know what I mean? So there ain't no cruise control there. You know what I mean? The Mets have separated from the Phils, and they've been separated from the Phils for a long time. You know what I mean? So this weekend just it was unacceptable. You know what I mean? And that's so I guess if you have to answer it, it's like considering what's what's around, and there's nothing really bunched up. That's why I would say you're still concerned, absolutely, and rightfully so. But I think I mention it every Sunday, like they're really not good enough, and I think we know that. You know what I mean? Now, are they good enough for the third wild card? Absolutely, and the lineup should be good enough. You know, they're always going to be short on the mound somewhere, whether it's in the pen or even without these injuries, or it's in the rotation. You know what I mean? Because I land on, obviously Robertson spit the hook back today, but I'm looking right at Kyle Gibson, man. Like, at some point, when are you going to grab the bull by the horns, man? Like, come on. You know what I mean? Like Greg alluded to offensively, I mean, I think the Phils had 14 hits and their pitching gave up 16. Come on, dude, 16 hits. My God, what is this? Is this Williamsport? What are we talking about here? And that's just, it's brutal. All right. And, you got a 4-0 lead. I know 2 of the runs were unearned, so clean your life up, Bradley Zimmer and Bohm. He's from the back, tremendous again. But, you can't have these defensive mishaps, you know what I mean? So 2 of them were unearned. But you still need a better outing out of you, Gibson. I mean, you need to go, especially after the news with Seranthony. Robertson's tired. I need 6 or 7 out of you, right? And I'm assuming, I don't know exactly because I was out, that maybe during the delay, maybe Alvarado, if you guys can allude to that, maybe he's through before the delay, because with 13 pitches, he's supposed to go another inning, right? So if it was in that, I don't want to kill Thompson if it was, if it was part of the delay. Like if he went his inning, then the delay came, then I get it. But if that's not the case, then that's on you, Robbie. You went 13 pitches. I don't give a shit about mismatch. You know that you're short back there with no Corey, with no Corey, no Seranthony, and Robertson's tired, right? That's how you stretch it out a little bit. And I got news for you. And Brad Hand's been great, all right? I know he's not everybody's cup of tea, and but he's had closing experience, right? He could be on the back end too, all right? You don't have to be, once again in missionary position. Well, Robertson was closing for the Cubs, and we got him, and he's the setup guy, and come on, dude, don't do that. That's what the nerds do. All right, they get caught in the missionary position. You know what I mean? Brad has been great, and maybe he's been great in his role. All right, I'm not saying that you put him in the 9th and he might take a shit too. You know what I mean? But he's been good this year. I mean, come on.
Well, you're right. A fresher Brad Hand is better than a tired David Robertson. I mean, that's just common sense. Like, I'd rather have the fresher guy out there. I thought, and I meant to say this earlier, Sleeps and Greg. I thought this loss today was obviously it's on the pitchers and players and get all that, but this is the first loss where I say, hey, Robbie, you got your fingerprints on this one. That I don't know how, really, because we talked about he's a little short back there, but today's loss is where I think you got to go to somebody else. And then if you're going to go Robertson there, well, why are you going to pull him with 2 outs to go to a rookie with a 1-run game? Like, you think Edwin's? I know Edwin's that good, right? I get it. I know how good the guy is, but you got a 1-run game right now. You still give yourself a chance bottom 9. So that's not the time to go. I give him one more batter. Now you give him one more batter. What are you doing? When he went out to the mound, I said to my dad, now you're going to go get him? You might as well not even put him in then. You might as well say, you know what? We got a limit to you. No, you don't even don't even put him in and go to somebody else then. Right? Like Steve said, I don't know if Hand threw today.
He did.
He did. When did he throw? In the 6th, 7th?
5, 6, 7,
5, 6,
7, 8.
He threw the 8th. Okay. He threw the 8th.
And that's what Thompson said with Robertson is once he gave up the home run and they were down then, he said it was at 20 pitches, so he was going to get him. He said, I'll make the same move tomorrow. I'll make the same move because he wasn't trying to get the guy hurt, right? So because somebody asked him about it too. Someone asked him in the presser, hey, A, why'd you go to Robertson? And then B, why did you go to Sear, right, or Cree or whatever, or however it is after that, right?
Yeah, you think that's the time to go to a rookie?
Give up that additional run.
Yeah, but
because and he mentioned, he goes, we haven't done really well against Diaz as it is. Now, sure, we got one by him today, so obviously that extra run looks a little.
Yeah, but you can't go into the 9th assuming that, right? Like you can't, even if Mariano Rivera's on the mound. Like, I got to still keep it in striking distance, right? Knowing who I got coming up. I got Realmuto and Castellanos. I know Castellanos hasn't been great with the long ball, but I got 2 guys who can lose a baseball coming right on up, right? So if I got a 1-run game, I give myself a big time chance. When that's what I do as an offense. When I'm really going well, is I hit homers. I got guys that come up and can lose a ball. If I got the bottom of my order coming up, then okay, then throw the game away, right? Maybe. Okay, all right. There, I don't even throw it away. But
you're down by a run. You don't need a long ball. You know what I mean? It helps, but you don't need one right there.
Yep.
If you're down, if it's still a 1-run game, they probably roll the ball there. You know what I mean? Like first and second, no outs. I'm not sure who was up. I think it was Stott.
I'm just saying a solo homer.
I don't know if he attempted. I don't know if he attempted to.
No, he hit one little wall. He hit one little wall.
Yeah, no, I know he's been swinging better, and I'm just saying, like, everybody has a different feel for stuff. You know what I mean? But that's probably the time where you roll one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought the same thing. But
you take 2 shots at a single. You know what I mean?
But then I look at the rest of the lineup after that, and that's kind of like where our lineup ends right now is Stott. You know what I mean? Which is sad because he's not like – I mean, he's hit really well the last couple weeks. He's hitting better than he did earlier in the year. But, like, if you look at our lineup right now without not that Marsh is a hitting machine, but, with the black hole in center field, that's where our lineup ends right there at Stott. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm just saying there it was crazy because I thought he got it. Like
I did too. I thought
he put Stott put a good swing on him. Like, did he get that? Did he get that? Well, no, to your point though, if it's a 1-run game,
you already have Gene in the game, so I know what Greg's saying. Like, normally you're saying whoever's behind you, but it's Maton who could give you a good at bat, and all you need is a single if it's second and third. Yeah. And then you got Mean Gene, who is another professional hitter. I don't know if he's going to get a hit, but you'll take your chances with him. And then maybe they put him on for Zimmer, okay, or obviously it wound up being Hall, when it was all said and done. But we're not going to play coulda, woulda, shoulda. But I mean, you're fighting for your life right there, first and second, no outs. Against a guy that's been nails all year. I think that's the time you roll the ball.
Listen, I wouldn't mind bunting for a hit there, right? I mean,
kind of combo, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't square early and give myself away, but I would definitely like to take at least
especially
one shot.
Speed.
Yeah, I like to take one shot at getting one down for a hit, right, and making him come off and have to throw a baseball, and who knows, maybe he airmails one, maybe one goes our way, right? But the problem is when you go into that inning, right? When you go into that inning being down now 2. Instead of being down 1, it changes your whole approach because then he's definitely laying one down there. It's a no-brainer, right? But it's just that we talk about it all the time. We know this, but it's the little things. It's always going to be the little things. And today, as a team, they do the little things well from the mound perspective, right? And I thought Rob, not many times as he has his fingerprints on games. Today was one of them. And that happens, right? But like again, I could devil advocate myself and say, well, what's he supposed to do? So too, right? I mean, but I agree. I might have went Robertson. If I was going to throw Robertson today, maybe I'd rather him throw in the 8th because that's where he's been with us, right? And give Hand a chance. But listen, that one's tough because if Hand, how it goes. You mismatch it, you swap them, and then the same thing happens in the 9th, and you're saying, well, why didn't you say Robertson for the 9th? Right, so that's neither here nor there. It's just one of those games where, if I was going to pull him with 2 outs at that point, then why pitch? That's the
only reason why. It's the only reason the second guess. All right, is because I understand his answer, and I love Robbie Thompson. I think he's done a great job, and I think he deserves. Necessarily, I'm not saying an extension, but he deserves an opportunity to give him, to. Have the team, other than being an interim. You know what I mean? Like he deserves a shot to lead this team going forward. You know what I mean? I thought he did that good of a job, especially without Harper. And like you said, everybody's going to have things where they look back and they kick themselves in the ass. So I'm not going to, scream at them too much. All we're trying to do is break it down to you. I understand the explanation. If that was the case, then you come out after the Kana home run. He punched out the next 2 guys. Why the fuck are you taking them out? You know what I mean? Like there was nobody out. Like like you said, once the horse is out of the barn, and Kahana and however you say his name goes yard, it's 9-8 Mets. Okay, so then what? He punched out the next 2 guys. Then you went to some guy that they picked up at a Holiday Inn, at a Holiday Inn Express. I don't understand. And maybe it was his turn to come up. I don't know. Never heard of this guy before.
I'm trying to figure out where I forget exactly where the delay came in because I'm trying to figure out, to your point, Sweeps, where the pitching was, right, with Alvarado and stuff like that. Yeah. I have to think, and I don't know. So if somebody can chat in the chat can remind us where where the rain delay came, what time in the game the rain delay was. Let us know. Because you're right. You know, one of your better relievers when you're shorthanded needs you to throw more than 13 pitches.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I gotta think that it came that he was in before the delay. But I don't know that for sure.
Fisher retired 3 batters and walked 1 to lead off the 6th. So Schwarber led off the 6th and was walked, and then a 46-minute rain delay. So then by that point, so Gibson 4 1/3.
What inning was it, Greg? I'm sorry,
The
buddy.
6th.
Yeah.
So Alvarado pitched before the delay.
Yeah, he pitched the top of the 6th. That's what I'm saying. That's why I wouldn't.
And then sat for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But yet, I mean, the Mets brought their guy back to throw another inning.
Well, listen, today's the day where, today's the day, in my opinion, where the Mets were saying, hey, you can go ahead and take this one. You know what I mean? And almost because they smacked. First off, this is what pisses me off too, right? Because as a baseball player, I know this too. They almost pulled their piece out and put it right on your face today because they said we're going to set up our pitching for the Yankees. We ain't worrying about you. That's almost what that said in so many ways.
Today was supposed to be Walker, and he was hurt.
Yeah, but my point is they set up their 2 big aces.
Yeah.
They didn't set them up where they could have thrown in this series. They set up to make sure that they had them for the Yankee series, and that was done a little ways ago. But the point is, correct. It's still a smack in the face. And today you got a guy who's a rookie on the mound, right? And you do your job offensively. That's where Sweet's point. Kyle Gibson, I need you. I need you to come out and deal today, right? I need you to give up maybe 2 or 3 runs, right? You got a big lead, a 4-0 lead, right? And then obviously, then we had a 7-4 lead, and he was. I think that's when he went out. And then Alvarado and Brogdon came in after. But and Brogdon, Brogdon's just got back up here. You know what I mean? So I mean, what's he? And then you get prime example of what he is and why he hasn't. I mean, he might have been hurt for a minute, and that's why he hasn't been up. But either way, he's just a guy to me.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And
it's a shame too because I think since the trades, I think Gibson has pitched well. I mean, he had the perfecto going the other, a couple starts ago, and I think his last start was pretty well. It was just it's this series where it seemed like our starting pitchers just wanted to throw duds out there, right? You know what I mean? Like you got a dud from Noel, you get a dud from Wheeler, and then you get a dud from Gibson in probably the worst spot. Because you're right, Tommy. It felt like at a couple of times even during the game that the Mets were even saying, just take it. Just take it. Like it's here. We're down 4-0. We're down 7-3 or 7-4. Like just go ahead and take it. And we couldn't. And again, both of you guys are right. That goes back to Kyle. He's got to pitch. He's got to give us more length than what he did today.
I mean, to your point, they. I mean, like you said, I think you both said it. They left their guy in to get absolutely destroyed. You know what I mean? It was like it was a white flag day. It was like, all right, we split the 4-game set without Max and DeGrom. So, nice job, Phillies, or whatever. Take it back, whatever. You can have Sunday. And so that young kid, went 4 innings, 9 hits, 7 earnings. You know what I mean? He got shellacked, and that's
what on the chin.
Yeah, that's what I said. In the first inning, it was like, it looked like it was going to be one of those days, and it was, and it just, the Phil's pitchers couldn't get anybody out. Terrible.
By the way, Phil's pitching, and this is prospect, what prospects are. We've all been down this road, but Abel threw well yesterday.
Don't get me excited.
Abel threw well yesterday, and Painter went 6 today, no runs.
That's what I said. The water. I mean, we, every Sunday we talk about it. So it just falls on deaf ears because I know, kid's 18 years old and the other guy, and they just, there's clocks and there's, but you just look around the league, Dave. Dave. I mean, just look around the league, Dave. There's guys flying around all over the place. You know what I mean? Guys are coming up all over the place and showing they can play, man. So,
sweeps. He went 6. He went 6 with 3 hits.
Come out of the pen. You feel pretty good if those guys were, back end of your pen.
Think about the pen right now.
Yeah.
Well, think about this. I mean, today he went 6 innings, 3 hits, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, right? eight strikeouts. So I mean, you're talking about there ain't no command issues, right? I mean, you're not walking anybody, and he did better than Abel did. So
and Abel did really well too.
And Abel did well. I mean, but both guys are electric arms. I mean, his first strikeout, I'm just looking at the video right now. His first strikeout tonight is smoke. I mean, it's just smoke. And I don't care. And I'd rather see that smoke, you doing that at Double-A than you doing it at Triple-A, honestly. Because I just believe, when we all believe that there's most of your big studs or highly ranked prospects are usually in Double-A. That's where you see a lot of guys, a lot more guys. I feel like. So for him that giddy up against a leadoff hitter, I mean, he couldn't even smell it. I don't care if he's 16. I don't care if you're 15. If you're blowing stuff by like that, that's a live arm to your point sweeps. And I know me and Greg agree that those live arms can help your back end of your bullpen right now. Right now. So guess what? Give both of them another start. If Andrew Painter has the same type of outing his next start, come on up, buddy. Come on up. I got nothing to lose with you, right? Come on up. You can come out of the pen. You had a long year already.
And it'll be September by that point too, right? So roster should expand.
You don't have to worry
Greg,
this is the most innings he's ever pitched.
Yes, it is.
So I mean, that's fine. Like
then you limit him. Now he's down to 1 inning every 2 or 3 days.
Able the same way.
I was never even thinking
he's a live arm.
I was as good as those two pimps have been. It never even crossed my mind to put him in the rotation. All right. You know what I mean? So that all along I was thinking pen, 1 inning at a time, man. When you got electric stuff and you're young, that's, set them up for success, man. I mean, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Like if you're already given
debut, he had 4 hits, 2 earns, and a walk to go 8 strikeouts over 6.
So both guys striking guys out in 6 innings. I mean, and in Double-A. But if you're going to already say that these guys are going to be getting invites the camp to try to win jobs next year, if you're already on the record saying that, right? Then hey, come on, you come right now. Then
what's 5 months? What's 5 months?
Yeah, what is it? It's nothing. I mean, listen, the way Painter dealt today, I can't get him up quick enough. If I'm a scout and I'm watching that today, and I don't care, like I said, I don't care if he's 15, and he's throwing like that, and it's that live, and it comes out of your hand that live. There's only so many bullets in the chamber, baby. Bring them on up. Let's go. Now, if we have all our pieces, if we have Seranthony and Knebel, right, and all the arms that we expected to have in the back end of our bullpen, fine. I don't need to bring these guys up because I got enough. I got enough. But after losing those 2 guys, why even wait around? You're going to bring up a guy from Double-A today. I don't care if he was a bullpen guy down there. Like I don't care. I don't care. I'm trying to win baseball games here, and other organizations literally show you how it's done, where they don't wait around. Like if a guy's a ball player, we say it all the time. I said it for years, for this 10-year rebuild, right? I said it for over tons of players. Bring them up because you'll find out, and I'd rather know sooner than later.
That's
right? I'd rather know. Yeah, I don't need to jerk off like, oh my God, I got 10 of the top 50 prospects in baseball. I want them up.
Yeah, I just don't understand the whole psyche argument. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't even understand, the clock argument. You'll never get that out of me either. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, so you don't want to go in your, so you're telling me you're cheap. You don't want to pay him. Okay, you know what I mean? Okay, so so then that's a loser mentality. You know what I mean? But I don't understand the whole. I don't understand the whole like, you could ruin somebody's psyche. Get the hell out of here, man. Then you're never going to be good, right? So you're just going to be good in Double-A.
You're Mickey Moniak.
Triple-A, and that's great. And you look good in shorts and a t-shirt, as Tom likes to say. You know what I mean? You look good in shorts and a tee. You know what I mean? That's reach down and see if you got a beanbag. You got a beanbag? I think both of them do, right? But now it's time to find out, and just rattle them around, see if they're still there.
You find out right away when I'm pulling up an 18 or 19-year-old and he's getting his first chance at Double-A, which is big and quick. Okay, that's quick, and he's going out and doing that. That tells me he's got what you like to say about Danny Wilson back in the day. He's rolling a wheelbarrow out with his nutsack in it, right? You
don't need 20 starts right before the majors.
No,
I mean, no. You know what I mean? I don't know where you got that number, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? If that's your opinion, or somebody told you that, you don't need 20 starts. You know what I mean? If you're good enough, you're good enough. All right. So, there's nothing more to get polished. They're down there dominating dudes. You know what I mean? So, all right, the next level is the big leagues, right? And Triple-A is for like guys like Crash Davis. So, I mean, let's forget about Triple-A. You know what I mean? That's a good old boys club. You know what I mean? skip over that. You know what I mean? So, the next obstacle is to get big league hitters out. Can you get big league hitters out? That's fine. 20 fucking starts at Double A ain't gonna help you get out fucking big league hitters if you ain't got the stuff and you ain't got the mentality and you ain't got the fucking nutsack.
So, some breaking news for next year.
You're gonna go there. I was
Yeah.
going to tell you.
Yep, the Phillies and Nats. It's courtesy of Greg.
Yes,
the
sir.
Phillies and Nats will play in the Little League Classic in Williamsport on August 20th, 2023. So, not that we care about that long away, but just so everybody out there knows, that's cool though. And we'll see. I don't know, Mark, if he's on the 40-man. I don't think he is.
I don't think either of them are, just because they didn't necessarily need to be.
But it doesn't matter. Whoop, whoop. Start a clock.
Let's see. I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah, but Ryan, I know what you're saying, that it's been quick, but that's okay. Like, we're so predetermined, or we're set in our ways here in Philly that we feel like this has to be a process to it, and you have to check off 45 fucking boxes. No. You just checked off the box I needed to see today. Right? I'm not a scout. I don't do that for a living, okay? But I do sports for a living, and I stayed at a lot of Holiday Inn Expresses in my career, all right? And I feel like that I got a little bit of a clue. And when I watch, and again, just highlights of this guy throwing today, he's in the zone, right? He doesn't walk guys, and he's got swing and miss stuff. And his fastball moves all around the country. Just moves. So I don't need to see more than one. I'm just telling you, I would go and give him another one, and blah 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 blah. But I saw what I have to solve. I'm in need. I'm in need of some guys who can strike some guys out the back end of this bullpen now. All right, if Seranthony was healthy and Corey, this is a non-conversation right now. So, but we're in a position where are we not trying to win? Like, first off, we don't want to talk about confidence. The biggest confidence boost you can get as a baseball player, right, is a call-up at 19 years old. Like, listen, I'll be rock hard walking in that clubhouse at 19. My chest would be so out, I'll be bumping into everybody like, yo, I'm that good. Yep, I'm that good.
Absolutely, 100%. And to take that great point of absolute, natural Viagra to another level is you got the Reds and the Pirates coming to town. Ain't a better time to call up some pups, right?
Yep.
Get a little tasty poo of those lineups because they horse shit.
Yeah. They're not on the 40-man, but there's a couple guys on the 40-man that Bradley Zimmer, like one of them, that you could go ahead and option off, right, and get rid of. There's a couple pitchers here that I've never even heard of that are on our 40-man. You know what I mean? So, guys,
I'm going to say it, Greg. I'm going to say it. I would rather see a double hair than Bradley Zimmer. With all due respect, the Bradley Zimmer. Like, I'm good. I'm good on a guy batting 180. Rick, you know what I mean? I'm good on those. Like, then just bring me back to the slop I already had then. Yeah. That I at least can hit a baseball out. Like this, and that's not the Phillies' fault. They went out and made a move to get Marsh, and that's a good addition, right? And it's not their fault he got hurt. But I know you're not going to bring a Double back, but bring up Jalen Ortiz. Where's he play? Left, right? I mean, somewhere down there. He hit a grand today in Double A, right? And all he does is lose baseballs. Well, he's another one.
You're taking my crumb from me later in the show.
I mean, come on. I mean, there's another guy.
You're absolutely right. My guy was Johan Rojas, right? You're 22-year-old center fielder of the quote-unquote future in Double A, right? Again, if he's 18, 19 years old, I understand. He's 22, and if you look at your outfield, especially with the addition of Marsh, you're kind of loaded. You're kind of stuck there in your outfield. So why not take this chance to see what the kid has for 10 days, for 15 days? What do you have to lose?
Nothing. The only thing you have is something to gain, right? Yeah. And the gain is, maybe he can play.
This kid does, then holy shit, you found something.
Listen, maybe he comes up and he shows you can play.
Absolutely.
Like, it's not there's no set way this has to work. Like, people just assume like, oh, guy's going to come up and he might struggle early on. There's also the other side of guys that come up and they're just freaking red hot all the time.
We look at it across the field in our own division.
All the time. No matter who they bring up. No matter who they bring up.
Even the Mets, they brought up that Beatty grand slam his first pitch.
You know what it says to your clubhouse too?
Absolutely.
To me, that says more to your clubhouse than a Zimmer. right? Like, Zimmer's like, not that these guys care. I'm just making a point. Like I'd rather go to the farm and say, hey, we're trying to win. We have a hole. This is our best option that's left. That says more to players than anything else. They'll look at a guy. You think these guys don't look stuff up too? Like, they'll look at a guy and say, what's his minor league number? What's he doing in Double-A? And if he's losing some baseballs and can go get it and can is a 4 or 5 tooler, then no, they're going to respect that more than you going for a guy who stinks.
Yep.
Who stinks? Who a team let go so they could upgrade a Jackie Bradley who can't hit either.
Yep.
Right, but at least he can go get it defensively. All right, for this guy, I mean, he was batting like 120. Like, that's absurd.
Almost like 2 months.
Yeah, that's absurd. Just go bring me somebody up. Anybody.
I mean, you brought up another name of Ortiz. Ortiz is on the 40-man roster. There is zero excuse, other than he doesn't play center field, that he's not here.
Where does he play? Left, right?
I think he plays a corner.
Okay. All right. I know the slowest outfield ever, but at least like,
but Schwarber's DH'd anyway, so put him in left, Veerling in center. We're good.
I said I can never get in executives' heads anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so anti-Philly execs, no matter who's there, that I don't understand, because I would have been bringing these guys up for 10 years now. There wouldn't be these weight processes. If I see a guy that can swing it, like, listen, Derek Hall swung it in the minors, right? So, okay, I'll give him a little credit there, but that guy's not supposed to be anything. Like, he's like 20. What's he like? He's like 27. It's almost, he's ran his course. He is what he is, right? And I don't dislike the guy. I think it's like you're trying to get some more pop in your lineup. Yeah, but do it with younger guys, dude.
That's had a bat off the bench, whatever. You know what I mean?
But you got younger guys who can play every day that can help you and throughout this whole year. Yeah, throughout this whole year. What's wrong with bringing up a 22-year-old? Could you start a clock again for the millionth time in 10 years? You are a top 5 market in this sport. There is no stupid money goes all the way down the line here, right? You say stupid money, Uncle Cigars, that means I start every goddamn clock that I think can be an asset to this baseball team. All right, every clock. If I got holes coming into the year, of course you're not going to start clocks when you put together a team like you did this year, right? But when injuries start to happen, which they do in sports and in baseball, then you got to get creative and say, you know what? I know we don't want to start this guy's clock right now, okay, because we don't like starting clocks, but we got to. We're trying to get to the postseason, because if you get the postseason, you got to you got to get over the hump. This baseball team this year has to get over this hump. Anything less is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. You can get knocked down in the first round, and I'm fine. Will I be mad doing a show? Will I be upset with why we lost? Sure. Yeah, all right. But I'll say we got over the hump. It's a start going in the right direction here finally. Okay? And I don't care there's an extra wild card. It doesn't matter. It's getting into a dance. Right? And you go out and you sign these guys. And again, Schwarber's lived up to his end of the money. Nick gets hits when nobody's ever on base and stuff like that. I mean, I can't believe he only has 10 home runs. But you go out and do all these things. Why would you stop there? Like, for a guy who stinks. Like, that's where I draw the line. Like, you go out and make, like, Marsh good move, Syndergaard good move, fine. But then when Marsh gets hurt, you can't go get a guy like Zimmer. Like, stop it. Stop. You can't get a guy who's well known for not being good enough. And don't tell me he's got a good glove in center field. Yeah, like, don't. Because that means you're trying to Band-Aid. No, you might not have to Band-Aid. If Rojas is good, Greg, like you're saying he is, I don't know his numbers in Double-A, but if he's good, then why not give him a run? Like you said, there's nothing to lose. The only thing you have is to gain and say, oh, wow, this guy's a good player. This guy's going to help us. Shouldn't have traded for Marsh, but that's where I think it comes from, right? Like, these guys are so egotistical. If this kid comes up and plays, they're going to say, well, why do we just trade for Marsh? And this guy's this good. Right, because people will say that. I think they think that way too. I think part of it's thinking that way, like, oh, can't look bad here.
Once again,
he's not killing it by any. I'm sorry, go ahead, Sweeps.
No, I mean, I didn't mean to cut you off. It's just you don't know. You know what I mean? And not comparing that guy. You know what I mean? The two Phillies arms are obviously higher. Higher prospects. So in regards to them. You know what I mean? Like, just look at, and like I said, I'm not comparing the two. One was the number 1 pick in the draft, but just take a look at the Orioles. All right, when it was time for Addy Rushman to come up, they soared. they soared. Right? I mean, they look like a different team. You know what I mean?
They've been on fire since he came up.
I mean, it's a different team. I mean, I understand he's special, so don't say like, oh, it's just a stupid comparison. You know, I'm just saying, you can see, you never know. You know what I mean? There's plenty of guys that have been top 5 picks or whatever that have been bust. You know what I mean? So, you don't still know how special a kid can be until you give him a shot, and see how he deals with adversity. This is a game of failure, right? So, you see, what kind of huevos you got. You see what your mental makeup is and what you got inside of you. All right, there's a lot of good players that they got jelly inside them. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of guys that grinded. They grinded and they're just tough. Tough players, man, and just absolute, dudes, and that's what I tell my kids all the time, like, be a dude. You know what I mean? Like, if you were allowed to get a tattoo, at age 14, get that on your, get that on your neck, be a dude, right? Be a dude. That's what you want. Somebody be a dude.
Yeah.
Right.
And Rojas isn't killing it, right? But he's 22 years old. He's your 5th overall prospect, with Justin Crawford being ahead of him, right? So the kid we just drafted is one of the ones ahead of him. Your 3 pitchers, Abel, Painter, and McGarry, Crawford, and then Rojas. He's not killing it. He's 236, 5 homers, 29 RBIs, but he stole 52 bases. You mean you're telling me you can't that wouldn't translate in a late inning game? Even if you played Verling, you just put him on the bench. You know what I mean? Like,
listen, and I'm fine with giving it a chance because maybe he comes up here and gets better, right? But Jim, he's batting over 250. He's got 16 home runs. He's got 52 RBIs, 9 stolen bases. I mean, he's a guy who's had 1,800 minor league at bats. He's 23 years old.
Time.
He plays right field. And he's in Double-A. I mean. So he's showing in Double-A, which we consider where all the best guys are, that listen, he can hit a ball out of the ballpark. And like I said, he had 15 on it says the 2022 stats on here, but he hit a grand today. I know that for a fact. So he's got 16 now. But what do you got to lose? If you feel like you have some holes for a minute. And I like Nicky Maton, and I think he does, like Sweep said, I think he gives you good at bats, and he's tough and I like him, but we're talking about center field now, right? Yeah. And Matt, as much as I think Matt seems like a good athlete and a good dude, and that's great. I don't know if he's an everyday. I don't. Was actually not gonna say I don't know. I know for a fact he's not an everyday center fielder. But not saying any of these guys are. But you never know. Sometimes you get lightning in the bottle with some of these call-ups. Especially when you're talking about the arms, right? We know how that can translate. But the Mets, the Mets had no problem bringing up their number 2 overall prospect to play third base. That was a hole for him
in the middle of a pennant run.
Right? Braves have no problem going and bringing up guys in the middle of a pennant run. So why are we different? And we don't. We're not bringing up the right guys. Like you said, Derek Hall, good, nice little bat off the bench, left-handed bat off the bench, but it sort of ends there.
Yeah.
So. Jalen Ortiz is a prime example of a guy that at 23 years old, it's time. He's in Double-A. He's hitting baseballs out of the ballpark at Double-A. At this point of the year, give him a run. What do you got to lose?
And especially with him being on the 40-man already. Like, you didn't have to make a move. Like that's it. That's it, right?
So the Dodgers got Sandy today. Wow. Didn't know that. They got the Sandy. 10-3. Yep. If somebody can get the Sandy, it's them. But listen, I still want to believe that they're going to make the playoffs, but I do have, back to the poll, I do have major concerns with this bullpen now.
I would, brother. I know it's way early, but I'd call him up. Pedigree talk.
Okay, Mark says Rojas is not on the 40-man.
No,
yeah, I
not.
get it.
No, absolutely.
But Jalen Ortiz is. Andrew Painter, what would stop you? Okay, it's not that easy. Well, guess what? Make it that easy.
Mark, I hear you, and you're absolutely correct, right? But here's some guys on the 40-man roster that don't need to be here for Rojas. Johan Camargo, Luis Garcia, Yarier Munoz, Simon Muzziotti.
Yeah, where's Camargo at? Did he get hurt?
I don't know. Is he? He might be in the minors.
Must have.
Yeah, he's in the minors.
He's in the minors, so he just went. He just left him down there, huh?
Kent Emanuel. Apparently, he's a pitcher. Never heard of him.
I don't know.
Literally never heard of Kent Emanuel.
Not me either.
Damon Jones, Rick Arthur. Like these are guys on our 40-man roster that don't need to be there to make a move.
Mark, let me just tell you this, Mark, and Mark's probably going to agree with this. In no time over the last 10 years will I give the Phillies a benefit of the doubt in terms of who's on their 40-man. Because when you look at it every year, you got some guys like this that you've never heard of, right? And I don't, you know, and I understand some of these minor league guys aren't going to be on the 40-man, but make a move, right? What are you holding on to some of these names for, right? What are you going to hold on to some of these names, or trying to get to the postseason, trying to find, you know, something that can come up and give you a spark for a minute? Come on, because sometimes young blood,
30 years old,
he's never gonna pitch in the big leagues here.
No.
I don't know. That's it's neither here nor there. But I think they can make it, obviously, because we talked about Milwaukee. But I do have concerns, and hopefully they can do some things to try to ease those concerns, or guys can get outs. Because we're not going to. I mean, even though, like you said, Greg, our schedule is easy. I can't even play that game with us. You know, because you're still playing big league teams, and you know, if you're throwing meatballs, good luck. So. Hopefully there's some things that there's some guys who step up. That's what you're going to need. And it's really going to be nice if your two air quote aces step up moving forward the rest of this year.
Yeah, it's a tough weekend when they throw duds back to back.
I'll give Nola the benefit of the doubt. Like he threw a complete game per se up there at City Field the last time out. You know, the one I have a major problem with is Wheeler. Because you laid a dud up there and you laid a dud here.
2 duds in a row, yeah.
That's 2 duds against a team that said you can take a walk.
Maybe he's still in the payroll. Maybe Bobby Bow style.
You can take it. You know what? You can take a walk, buddy. And every time we face you, we're going to hit you around. So that's the one that irks me. The Wheeler one irks me a lot more than the Nola, just because I didn't expect him to mow them twice in a row.
Yeah,
I just didn't expect it. I thought he would pitch better than that, but I also didn't expect it. Wheeler, I say to myself before that game, you know, I say to myself, after last outing, he's going to come out. He's going to shove it, right? He's going to shove it this one. And nope. So.
Yeah, game one of a doubleheader. You know what I mean? That was, you know, there's no excuse. You know what I mean? There's absolutely no excuse. So. Not giving Knowles a pass, you know what I mean? You know, he's been great as much as people, I think, like you said, it's the old, you know, it's typical Philly. I think, you know, he's been hated. You know, he's hated because people think, you know, he should have been, you know, this or should have been that and all that stuff. And it's like Carson Wentz effect, you know what I mean? He's this guy, like, you know, there's just a handful, you know, whatever the percentage of the fans are, this, you know, would rather see him fail so they can be like, see, I told you so. I told you Nola stinks. Told you he's not an ace. Really? Okay. All right. It's all right to be Robin too, though. All right. You can be, you know, he didn't have to be, you know, that's it. That's what, you know, if you guys, if Wheeler's your guy, then there you go. That's your, you know, then he could be the ace, right? And he's also not done ace things. So, especially game one on Saturday.
Yeah. And listen, you know, they've both been fine this year. But Knowles had a good year. But this is where it matters, right? You know, this is what we talk about. Late August into September. You know, can these guys come out and losing streaks? You know, be lights out in big games where you need wins. You know, that's where you're going to be judged by, especially over the last few years. And Greg, like I say to you, when you say about the easy schedule, you know, we talked about this last year, right? And we laid duds all over the place, right? In Miami, and there's others that I'm just missing that we didn't play good baseball against teams that we were probably better than. So can it change? I don't know. You guys can answer Ryan's question. I got to pee real fast.
About Bilotti, yeah. I mean, I think he's going to get that chance because he's one of your now he's going to be one of your more seasoned guys. But I don't know. I mean, I guess
Yeah, I mean,
six one, half dozen other. I guess with Coonrod and Brogdon back, he might jump them. But you're right. Bilotti's been very good this year.
Yeah, he punched
after that first one or two outings, he struggled, but he's really opened up.
Yeah. He punched out both of his guys today, so he did his job to get through the fifth. That Gibson couldn't get through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As a starter, you can't even get through five. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, they went to the Bilotti there, and he punched out his two guys. So on 14 pitches. So you almost wonder why he wasn't back out for the sixth, and then it's not Alvarado. You know what I mean? So once again, we continue to circulate. You know what I mean? I know, and nobody's crowning Bilotti. I'm just saying, like, you go out there, you punch out both your batters. Hey, I'd probably let you start the sixth. You know what I mean? And he gets in any trouble, then you got Jose out there. You know what I mean?
No, I was kind of going nuts because you could see the storm coming, like in the clouds today. Like you could see it coming. So you're absolutely right. He pitched the two batters, gets them out. At least start it. Right, at least start it, and then see what happens if you got to play damage control with Alvarado there. You know what I mean? Like you knew you were shorthanded, and to Rye's point, he has been really good at straining runners, and he keeps doing that. He's going to find himself in late inning games.
Yeah. No, he did give up a hit, and he punched out the next two guys. So I'm assuming it was like a humpback line or something because McNeil didn't score and he runs well. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of hit it was or if it was lasered to center. I have no idea. But
anyway, like a lot of the hits this weekend were Texas leaguers.
Yeah, to Bilotti's credit, that would make it first and third, and then you punch out the next two guys. So job well done by him. No reason not to run. Run him back out there for the sixth. So that's just like I said, it's easy. It's easier said than done, but like you said, they got Doppler radar. They got ground crew guys. There's guys in your ear.
You can just see it in the sky itself.
They know what guys.
You can see it moving in. Yeah.
They know what guys did when they were 17 years old. In a JUCO All-Star game. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there's there's weather guys there saying, hey, Skip, it's coming. You know what I mean? Like, it's whatever. You know what I mean? So, to your point right there. So, at the end of the day, even though they're banged up, the pen has been really good in this stretch. In this Rob Thompson era. In this little small window, this little Rob Thompson window, the pen's been great. So, every once in a while, you can expect that. It doesn't make it right, and it doesn't, doesn't have to sit right with you, and it doesn't, like I said, not giving out participation ribbons. But every once in a while, we see it around baseball. You know what I mean? The last three outs are hard to get. So I just think we alluded to earlier that Robertson was tired. You know what I mean? He was tired. So
just out of gas.
If he was going to be limited to 21 pitches, then why not give him the day off? And I understand you got the news about Seranthony and all that stuff, but then somebody's got to go multiple innings. You can't have a guy that's tired. You can't be short back there and then have everybody go one
inning.
Like, come on, somebody's got to give you some length.
What starter doesn't give you the length?
Yeah, since Gibson didn't get through five, somebody's got to give you a length.
If you look at this game goes back to what we struggled with early in the year, right? Your starter's not giving you the length, and then your bullpen's extended for 12 outs, for 15 outs, as opposed to 9.
Yeah.
Right. And that's it, and kind of to your point, right, to circle back to the poll question, our bullpen has been really good, but it's been really good since Knebel was pulled out of the closer role and put into the 7th or 8th inning, and Seranthony was inserted in the closer role.
Yeah.
And now with those two guys out, now we're starting to get back to early in the year where the bullpen was a jambalaya, right? You know what I mean? Was especially when your starter doesn't give you length. Starter gives you length. It solves a whole lot of other issues.
Because, like you said, then guys are in roles that they're not used to, or they don't flourish in. You know what I mean? So, they just if a guy's now, the earlier a guy has to come in, or the more outs you got to get out of your pen, then guys are leaving that role that makes them comfortable. And being down two of your big pen guys is a tough task, and that's all more the reason that Gibson, needed to be better today. And that's, and you're seeing yourself, like you said, you're not trying to give it away or anything like that. Obviously the Mets are in cruise control. They didn't give a shit as much as the Phils are in dire straits. You know what I mean? So, they're not, I'm not saying they have games to give away, you know what I mean? But if like I said, there's certain, you just have to, instead of playing the percentages, like I said, Gibson wasn't great, but if you're going to say, hey, if I have a 7-4 lead, then I got to see if Gibby can give me 6, you know what I mean? Like, I got to see, I can see what happens there, you know what I mean? Cause, that's just, I don't know, that's the way I look at things, you know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
It was a double. He was 1 out in the 5th, and then McNeil double, and then and that's when they made the switch. So and I think Kahana got him earlier, maybe, right? He got him early. No, he got him later. That's right, Kahana. Mark Kahana's both home runs were late, I think.
Yeah, they're both later.
Yeah, seventh and the 9th. Yep, he tied it up. That's right. So so at that point, you just let Gibson, face him, and listen, you just try to. You just have to. It's just too early it's just too. There's too many outs left. There's too many outs left to try to get cute there in the 5th, and like I said, guys still have to execute. Like, we're not taking anything away from that. But there, when you are the guy operating too, right? You're the guy that's operating this machine. You know what I mean? The machine still has to do its job, right? But you're the guy pushing the buttons, right? And you gotta push the right buttons. You don't have to be perfect, right? But especially when you're shorthanded, and you gotta make sure you just that guy has to give you more. That's Gibby has to give you more. And we crushed him too. You know what I mean? But I think he's got to probably, even though he's got to be better, he's probably got to be given a longer leash today. After
he was only 105, I think. I only think he threw 105 pitches.
Yeah, I gotta look it up. Jason Nelson says Mark Appel. I mean, I'm not against bringing him up for long relief. I mean, I thought he was a solid. He figured some things out in the back end of the pen down the minors. So, he's on. I think he's on the 40 man, right? He is. So I mean, that's at least a guy who came up and got some outs when he's here. But I disagree with Ryan, where listen, Dominguez could have a little bit of a tired arm. All right, obviously. Okay, but he said he pitched a lot of contact in those in spots, like later on, like his last few outings per se. But he's got a 1.64 earned run average, so he's getting outs any way you want to slice it. So if he doesn't have his strikeout stuff because his arm's a little tired, I don't think just because he's been finding more bats means that it's like a big injury. Like, I just think it's probably a little bit of a tired arm, and I don't think it's going to be more than obviously the 15 days, right? And then he'll come back, and maybe it gives him a little bit. He's freshened up a little bit. It's almost expected a little bit. I know early on in the year we were up in arms a lot because we weren't seeing him in certain spots, etc. And rightfully so. We had every right to be. But we knew what he was coming back from, and that this year could have some ups and downs to it in terms of having to shut him down for a minute. If I'm going to shut him down right now is the time, because I need him for September. Big time need him for September. And like you said earlier, Greg, not the hardest schedule coming up. But my dad said it last night, and I poo-pooed him because last night he was like, why is he not in for the 9th? Is he hurt? And I said, I don't think he's hurt. He's out there. I don't think he's hurt. I almost poo-pooed him. Like, what are you talking about? He's hurt. Nobody said a word about him being hurt. Don't you say that. And I got on him a little bit about it. And today I'm like, dude, he's on a 15-day DL. He said, what? He said, I told you.
And then Robertson went 2. Yeah, I know. I
said,
thought the same thing. Like, why is Robertson going 2 here?
And I'm like, okay, I guess they're keeping him on account, right? They got their number in their head. Fine, go ahead, run him back out there again. It's a 3-run game, right? That was sort of where my head was at. 3-run game, no biggie. If I don't got to use them, don't use them. right? Then not thinking he's going to pop up on the 15-day DL this morning. And it's like, can we ever have nice things? I mean, this guy finally got in a role we wanted him to get into, and he's been one of the biggest reasons why we've been this successful, right? One of the biggest reasons, if not the biggest, on why we've been this successful is because he's going in that role and owned it. So
I think to Ryan's point, the comment to Ryan is, I think when the velo's down, like if the radar gun is down, if the velo's down, that's when you have concern. That's when you have concerns with your pitchers. You know what I mean? That's usually a sign that something's wrong. So I don't know if his velo is down. Striking guys out don't mean nothing to me. You know what I mean? Because when you got good shit, as long as you're getting outs, don't matter. Pitching to contact actually preserves your arm. You know what I mean? Guys that strike out guys, guys that run full counts and guys that are high volume strikeout guys, they're 25 pitches, around 25 pitches every outing, you know what I mean? And, it's tough for those guys to bounce back, you know what I mean? So it don't matter how you get in the outs, as long as you're getting outs and he's been doing the job. So, I understand what you're saying, but it's more of, hey, was the velo down? Was the, and then that's when you start to get a little bit of a red flag. Like, hey, that's the first thing to go when a pitcher's hurt. His velo starts to drop, and then he's got to find other ways to get guys out. And then something's wrong. He's just he's just a bulldog. He's a tremendous pitcher. Whatever, you know what I mean. Guys will find ways until they can't anymore.
I was trying to find his game log.
I thought last time out his velo was still, 99 or something.
Who, Seranthony, Tom?
Yeah. I don't know if you can find it for me, but
Probably pitching game one, right? Or no, game.
Here we go.
Well, he last pitched Wednesday he took the loss in Cincinnati.
In his last 6 innings pitched.
1-0 game.
Yeah, in his last 6 inning pitch, 6 1/3, he struck out 9 guys. So I don't think his swing and miss stuff isn't there anymore. I love you, but I don't think his swing and miss stuff's not there anymore. Because that tells me everything I need to know. I don't even need to look at his velocity. You know what I mean? We don't even need to go deeper. I would love to. I would love to get that information because Sweeps is 100% spot on. But just knowing he struck out 9 guys in 6 innings, I think I would assume his velocity is still exactly where it was because I don't remember seeing like a drop off. At no point his last outing did I think that he don't have movement or zip on his ball. So I mean I could be wrong. I just want to pray that it's not something that is going to shut him down for the rest of the year. So
here's an interesting kind of to all this. So throughout his months, he's had a very similar strikeout, ground ball, fly ball ratio, right, on how he's getting outs. So, for example, in May, 15 strikeouts, 13 ground balls, 13 fly ball outs. June, 11 Ks, 7 ground balls, 9 fly balls. July, 10, 10, 15. And then through this last stretch, Tommy, as you mentioned, 9 strikeouts, 8 ground balls, 6 fly balls. So the similarities are still there throughout those stretches of him throwing. So nothing seems glaring on there.
Yeah, I know. I think obviously you guys are trying to stamp that and make sure that your eyes weren't cracking up either. You know what I mean? So I appreciate the read. But at the end of the day, like I think Tom alluded to, the ERA is 1.64. So really don't care how they're coming. I don't care, how you getting out. Guy gets outs. You know what I mean? He gets outs. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean Edwin Diaz gave up. Balls were in play to that. Like you watch Edwin, he was in the zone. So, if guys are in the zone, it's big league players, but he gets outs, right? He gets outs. So the biggest thing for Edwin Diaz was when he figured out how to throw strikes. When he had his hiccup per se as a closer, he couldn't locate, right? But as soon as he got back in the zone, because him and Seranthony are very similar in my opinion, watching those two, because both their out pitches have a ton of movement, have a ton of run to them late. They both have a ton of run late, both of those two guys, and that's why they're extremely successful when they're in the zone. Seranthony hasn't had any issue. I mean, his last time out, he might have had a leadoff walk.
Yep, that's the one that came back to get us.
No, a 1-out walk, but still, and then
1-out walk.
Then 2 singles. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that was his. That was like the one time where he wasn't in his zone, and you could tell. But he got it through it. But I think the majority of his times out there, he's thrown strikes. And again, he's the biggest reason on why we're where we are right now and holding that third wild card spot. Because the second he went into the closer role or the meat of a lineup 7, 8, or 9, right? Because they've done that sometimes too, where they feel like this is the toughest part of their lineup, and he's thrown in those types of situations. High pressure situations too.
High leverage. Yep.
I mean, he's been money. He's been flat out money, and Corey going to the 7th. Last thing, so he's Corey going to the 7th, right? He's been money. We talked about it. He's a guy who took that role and ran with it, and it's the same injury he had with the Dodgers a year ago. So it's a killer that it happens here again. So now just pray to God David Robertson can stay healthy. And that Jose Alvarado can be in the zone, because that's another guy. If Alvarado's in the zone, he's almost unhittable. He just is. He's that tough to hit. I mean, Nimmo yesterday was almost like laughing after he struck out against him, because he's like, it might have been it was Nimmo or McNeil. It was one of those two guys, but they were almost like laughing, like, how the fuck am I supposed to hit this? Like this guy looks like every pitch is going to hit me in the head.
Yeah, and that's why I thought the 6th inning was probably too early for him. You know what I mean? And like we were talking about when you were hitting the head, like they had to know that the weather was coming. You know what I mean? Like you don't know what kind of delay you're going to get, but
a lot of monitors in there.
Yeah, a lot of monitors, man. Just the tail of both pens, and the tale of why one team's got 70-something wins and is leading the division. You know what I mean? Like they get, they left, as we alluded to earlier, they left their starter in. He wore it for 4 innings. Then guess what? They got Fisher comes in and throws 3 innings.
Major league debut.
Yeah.
Major league debut.
3 innings, 50 pitches. Thanks for keeping us in it. One hit
through the delay.
One hit through the delay against a Phillies lineup that's obviously seeing the ball well. So there's your difference in the game. You know what I mean? There's a guy that that guy got him to the 8th inning.
Yep. I think he's hurt. I'm good on Conforto. If the rest of the world has been good on Conforto, I'll be right there too. But today's just a heartbreaker. And like I said, we talked about it earlier. We'll move on to the Eagles in a second, but like even my dad earlier was like, man, they look like they're just trying to give this one away today. The Mets, like with like what they were throwing, right? The whole time he's like, I just feel like they're trying to give this one away. And I said, I know, 7-4 though.
Save their big pieces for the Yankees.
They're like, I'm like, it's 7-4 though. This game's far from over. I said, I don't even know who's the back end of our bullpen looks like. and here we are. So, we'll segue into a few minutes of Eagles, and then we'll get into our crumb of the week. But, some keys to the Eagles' success.
Big win today.
Yeah, right. Nobody played. Good stuff. Thank you for the useless preseason games. I mean, preseason comes down to, hey, I want to make sure that, I see guys that are borderline roster guys, get tape on them, see if they can play, blah, 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 to see if they make my final roster. I mean, that's all it is. But people out there, overrate it. But wake me up week 1, because that's when the real dogs come to eat. That's when the stars show up. And that's when you find out a lot about, your football team and other football teams around the NFL. But some Eagles keys to success this year. Obviously, the easy one is the quarterback, right? I mean, that's a simple answer. But I'll go in a little different direction as my biggest key is our 2 fronts being healthy. I think if our 2 fronts can stay healthy, that this is a really good football team. Forget what else is around them. You win up front. If those 2 fronts can dominate, like I think they're going to be able to, I think we're going to be in really good shape this year, guys. I do. Yeah,
I mean, one of the keys for me, I think, is going to be depth, right? I mean, because obviously the NFL, you're going to go through injuries. But I think in all of our situations and all of our key positions where we have very good depth, right? I mean, you even talk about the quarterback position. We know Gardner Minshew can come in and play 1 to 2 games and not kill you. Right, you know what I mean? He's not going to be Jalen Hurts, right? But in a 16-game season, you're going to need, or a 17-game season, you're going to need times where he's going to have to potentially play, right? It's just what it is. Then you go to the running backs, so we know that's stable. The offensive line, of course, wide receivers. But it's funny, throughout the week, I completely, you look at the secondary, the depth after Avonte Maddox, right? What is Zach McPherson, right, in his second year now? Is he good enough to be that fourth guy? Because I know a guy pushing him is an Alabama kid who went undrafted, who probably without injury is drafted in the top 3 rounds.
Yeah, Josh Jobe.
And that's Josh Jobe.
Yeah, Josh Jobe was a good college corner.
Yes. And I know there's some other guys in the back half of that of the defense. But I think our depth, Tommy, you talked about the 2 lines. I think there's plenty of depth both there. So I think that's going to be a key just because we know the attrition rate in the NFL.
Yeah, and I know somebody said, Ryan's worried about the safety position. No. I mean, Marcus Epps seems like he's going to win that free safety job, I would assume. And Anthony Harris is a guy been around. But after that, there is some names of guys who started, Tart started obviously with San Francisco at the strong safety position, and Amadi, the guy he got from Seattle, which is nice. You got something back for a guy who can't play. Had started there in Seattle too, and they're both, one's listed as your second strong safety, and Amadi's listed behind Kevon Wallace right now at the free safety. So you don't have the big name players there, but you do have a lot of guys that have started games in this league. And if you have good corners like you do in Slay and Bradbury and Avonte Maddox, and the front you do, like we talked about last week, I'm not overly worried about that position just because it's not one guy. I got a lot of pieces. Now, just because you have a lot of pieces doesn't mean it's going to work. But I have a lot of guys who started football games there. So at least I'm just like, okay, that's not my best position, but it's also not a position I think is going to kill this football team. Like, I don't think we're going to be saying throughout the year, like, man, our safeties are just terrible. They're going to just be okay. That's what they are. It's an okay position. But you're not playing Madden where we can, not you, Ryan, but we're not playing Madden where like every position can be loaded.
Yeah. Just
hard to do. So you have to prioritize what positions mean the most to you. And I think we've made that pretty clear. I think Howie's gone back to that and made it pretty clear.
Yeah, because, I mean, Jason Bates from the Bengals was out there, right? And he still might be out there, right, to that point. And there's obviously Howie passed on him. You know what I mean? And probably because he's another guy that wants to get paid. And, it'd be nice to have a lockdown, but I agree, Tommy. If there's one spot with our corners, with our front, with our middle of our defense, I think we're okay.
Yeah. Jason says, is it bad that I'm not 100% sold on Gannon's scheme? And even though the defense doesn't look like it has many holes, is going to give up way too much? Jason, not at all. Not at all. I mean, this guy obviously is getting interviewed for head coaching jobs and, almost like a boy genius. Probably wears the sunglasses inside. But I'm not sold on him. I thought he was extremely vanilla last year. I know people that claim they watched tape told me he wasn't. But my eyes every Sunday told me opposite. We didn't play anybody down the stretch of the quarterback position. When we did, we got picked apart. Everybody remembers that, those times. So he has a lot to prove. I mean, he truly does. And anybody thinks he doesn't, I think is misguided. I mean, he has a ton to prove because you have a lot of talent. I mean, us three would end up getting head coaching offers or at least interviews if we got a chance to coach this defense this year. I'm just being honest with you. If this defense stays healthy and you have a chance to coach it, I mean, you should be getting head coaching sniffs. Just sniffs. Like, hey, you might be good for the job here because we talked about it. This front's dangerous. It really is.
They're back, like you said, their backups are probably better than some teams, some defensive teams that that are going to run out there this year. You know what I mean? Like you're looking at, I know they're going to get time. I'm not saying they're just complete bench warmers. You know what I mean? But they're considered backups. You know what I mean? But you're talking about a Jordan Davis, a Milton Williams, Davion Taylor, the Kobe Dean, Avonte Maddox, the Tart kid. The Tart kid had to get out of San Francisco because he probably got death threats. You know what I mean? Like he catches the ball, the Rams don't win at all. You know what I mean? That's as simple as it is. You know what I mean? So he's obviously got some ball skills. I kind of like that kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me too.
To your point. So, so their backups are better than a lot of starters in this league. So, they got a chance to be really scary on defense.
And offensively too, Sweeps, right? I mean, that's the easy one. That's the easy one. But even if Jalen Hurts is just like average, like they still have a ton of weapons. And when you're starting to get the rumors that are circulating now, I don't know how true they are, but there's been a lot of rumors and connections to Kareem Hunt. And if they're able to make a move like that, I mean, wow. Their ability to run the football. I mean, with Hunt and Miles and Kenny's look really good, obviously.
If he pulls that off, they should be the favorite in the NFC East. Excuse me, NFC. I didn't mean I misspoke there. They should be the favorite in the NFC. And then there's a lot of good teams in the NFC, right? But you land a Kareem Hunt, there's your final piece. And then obviously it comes down to the guy under center, right? But they feel confident enough in him. And obviously, he still has to do it. And it'll be, Eagle fans will be off the charts. But you had a Kareem Hunt. I mean, come on. Not only the ability to run the ball, but to catch the ball in the backfield. It's whew, man.
It's Miles Sanders on steroids.
That's fits right there, buddy. That's going to give opposing defenses fits, defensive coordinators fits, and that's scary.
Well, it goes twofold.
It's probably not for much either. It's probably Dillard or Rieger.
Yeah,
right?
Go ahead.
Bye.
But you know what's even scarier though is if Miles becomes your number 2. Now he's a healthier back. He's an explosive back. It gives you even more versatility. And what you're able to fire out at teams, right? Offensively, it gives you a bunch of different looks you can do. I mean, they're already scary in my opinion, and that really, like Sleep says, that puts you over the top. And I think it would be hard for Jalen Hurts not to be successful. With his ability to run around, I mean, it's almost hard not to be. And I think he will be. Like I think Jalen's gonna have a good year. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you he's gonna have a great one, but I think he has a good one. And is it enough to sell you that he's a franchise quarterback? I'm not there. Right. We got to see that. But I think it's hard for him not to have a good year. And I think because he is a worker, I know people call me a hater all the time, because he is such a worker, I think he's just going to continue to get better. Is it leaps and bounds better? I'm not going to go there. But hey, small steps sometimes are better, just as good as big steps. So if you can make some small steps in your ability to throw the football this year and show us some growth, then I'll be happy.
Absolutely, especially with those weapons. You ain't got to be a hero. You just got to do. You just got to take care of the football and not do anything catastrophic. You know what I mean? Like, you don't got to be a home run guy, or you ain't got to be that guy that's getting big chunks every play. You just got to listen, sustain drives, take care of the football, all right, and finish with some 7s instead of 3s. And it's going to be a very, very good offense. You know what I mean? Like, I know on paper it is, and games aren't played on paper. So, they can do that and keep that defense fresh. Especially, you know what I mean? You can't be having 3 and outs, and that's probably when this defense will be at its most vulnerable, just like anybody else in the National Football League, is when they're on the field too long, or and they listen. But they also have as I alluded to, they also have great backups. You know what I mean? So if Gannon's moving guys in and out, if they're on the field too much, and he's substituting the right guys and keeping guys fresh, then that might be not as big as an issue as it would be on an average defensive football team. So, I'm curious to see how, like I said, it should be exciting times for Eagle fans. And, we know football is always number 1 around here. So, well, not with us, but
yeah, and adding potentially a guy like Hunt, or even just another running back, it takes the pressure, as you both alluded to, takes the pressure off of Jalen to have to use his legs as much, right? We all talk about, mobile quarterbacks are good until they get that first injury, Well, we maybe, adding a Hunt or adding someone else similar to that allows you to not have to worry about getting chunks yourself, right? Let these other guys get those chunks.
Yeah, absolutely, Greg. It just makes you go from deep to extremely deep.
Yeah.
But even if they don't make the move, like for a Kareem Hunt, they're still really talented back there. Kenny Gainwell's looked really good. I think Kenny Gainwell's going to steal a lot of carries from Miles Sanders. But like we talked about on Wednesday, when you got a running quarterback, I mean, you can literally put whoever back there and they're going to be successful for the most part. Like, I'd rather have Kareem Hunt, but you guys get it. If Miles can stay healthy, which doesn't look good right now already, but if he can stay healthy, I mean, they're going to be really dangerous on the ground. But even if he doesn't, I'm confident in Kenny and Boston Scott. I mean, Boston's been a pretty good running back here, for what he is and what's expected and being a smaller guy. Like both of those guys lower the shoulder more than Miles does.
Yeah, and they mentioned today on the game the little bit I watched, they talked about Miles and the leg, and they said they're just being hyper conservative with him. He should be ready for week 1, and he should be 100% for week 1. So they're just, obviously through the preseason wasn't going to play much anyway. They're just being hyper, conservative and just making sure that he's ready for week 1. And they said he should be.
Yeah, that's good coach speak. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So tell me, guys, you got the soft guy in America.
Yeah, exactly. And that's coming from Spuds too, Spadaro. So we know he's just
paying the bills.
Just paying the bills, but at least they're not concerned. Is all I'll take out of it, right?
Yeah. Mark says Hunt trade would be like the Ajayi trade. It would be like the Ajayi trade, even better.
Yeah.
Even better. Umberto, if Jalen can get the Dak Prescott average level of QB play, this team can achieve a lot. Yeah, sure. I mean, Dak's gotten better, always throwing from the pocket. But that's all you're looking for from Jalen. I mean, everything else checks all boxes. Can you just throw it enough from the pocket? You don't got to be Matthew Stafford from the pocket, right? Nor do I expect you to be. But can you just get better? Can you just constantly get better at it? If you're constantly getting better at it, with your ability to run around and make plays, like I said before last season, right? That I thought that their chance of being a playoff team is him moving around, making plays with his legs, and being a top 5 rushing attack. That was my recipe for success last year, and I'm going to go right back to it. I think you got to be a top 5 running football team again. I mean, I would not go into this year saying I got to throw the ball 60% of the time. Run it down people's goddamn throats. And when you do that, and you have Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown and Dallas Goedert as your weapons, man, those guys are going to be more open. So, right. And I think Devontae Smith has a monster year if both those two stay healthy. Because I think he's going to be open a ton. That number 2 guys are going to be going against him a lot more. Yep, he'll be open a lot.
I was targeting him in fantasy, but he got taken before me, which is nice because then I don't have to, be the reason he stinks this year.
Who, Jalen?
No, Devontae.
Yeah, don't touch him, please.
Everybody sees Greg coming.
I did not pick any Eagles, I think, except for the defense.
You know what I said about him on draft night, so don't touch him.
Yeah, gold jacket.
Yeah, he's a gold jacket.
Yeah.
He's a gold jacket route runner. We'll see if he can end up getting the gold jacket on him. But playing next to A.J. Brown sure as hell was going to help that.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
But I mean, everything, and again, I don't take a lot from camp, but I do take certain things. And when numerous guys keep talking about his that he's an elite route runner, that gets me excited.
6 to midnight. Yeah, what are we, 2 weeks? What are we, 2 weeks away?
3? The 8th?
I guess, 3 weeks.
Yeah. But we get college football this Saturday. Hello.
Yeah, Ryan, I do think the Eagles will be able to cover and tackle when it comes to defending short catches. I think where you really upgrade the linebacker position, that helps you out a ton. I mean, both Kaiser White and Nakobe Dean, who are your 2 additions, both cover well. So you're in great shape here. I mean, listen, Jordan Davis is a problem, and it's going to create nightmares for offensive lines. And that's just one guy. I mean, I thought Milton Williams was a problem last year too, and I'm not even talking about the two starters yet. Yep. I'm not even talking about Fletcher, like Sweet was talking about earlier. I'm not even talking about Fletcher or Hargrave. I'm just talking about your two backups on paper right now are problems. One's a freaking high motor, and the other one takes two guys to block them, especially in running downs.
No, I think they made a huge concerted effort to upgrade the linebacking core, and I think, Ryan, to your point, that was kind of probably their blueprint, right? We need guys that can cover and can tackle in space.
Yeah,
and the guys you added are exactly that.
Yeah, that's the Kobe Dean too. That's you look him up. You look that up in the dictionary. That's the Kobe Dean right there. You know what I mean? He can cover, tackle in space, and go sideline to sideline. Guys, tough as nails. You know what I mean? So he dropped in your lap because of the shoulder injury. Whatever else. Can't speak for the scouts. Can't. You know what I mean? So be it. You know what I mean? Guy was unloaded. He's on the number one defense in the country, national champs. And I think he's got a chip on that said shoulder right now that you love. You love the guy. I love guys that play with an edge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No prima donnas, no softness. Just play with an edge every time you lace them up. And I think that's where you're going to get in the Kobe, not only skill set wise, but mentally and attitude wise and passion wise.
Yeah, leader of that Georgia defense. We talked about it last week. One of the best defenses we've seen in college football in a long time. They're that shut down, and you went and got two of their biggest anchors of that, and the biggest reasons they were. And the Kobe Dean. I talked to a guy today I met down here. He's friends with my uncle, and then they told him what I do, and he's originally from Philly, and he's asking, and we start talking, and a lot of questions, and I'm like, dude, you got a guy that, in most mocks the Eagles had taking in the first round with Jordan Davis, and you got that guy in the third, and you got a guy like Cam Jurgens.
You're going to get him at like 19.
Yeah. I mean, your two first round picks are going to be Jordan Davis and Kobe Dean. We all would have left happy, and now we get Jordan Davis. We get a first for next year. We get Cam Jurgens, and then we get Kobe Dean. Listen, if those two are healthy for 5 years, this defense is going to be a big time issue. I just really believe in it. I really believe in it. I'm not Mr. Georgia Bulldog, but I think I speak for all of us when we watch a lot of college football, and there's only one time that defense got exposed, and that was that Alabama game. And the time they came back against them, the next time out, they made their corrections.
They had adjustments.
And that starts with my leaders on defense. That starts with my communication. That obviously starts with my coaching staff. But the guys on defense, they're the ones playing. And that defense went and took it personal and shut them down offensively. So I think it says a lot about those two guys. And listen, there's a ton of other talent on that defense. So it wasn't just those two guys, but, it starts in the middle. So anything, Ryan, I don't know, because Kaiser White's going to be playing a lot of football. And so I think he's going to get time. I think they're both going to play. So I think we got to wait and see about those types of things. Umberto, are you guys worried about the lack of competitiveness, I guess, from our kick return competence? No, I don't care about kick return punt returners. I'm not taking a shot at you, that doesn't worry me. I feel like the bad teams do that well. And I'm just joking. Like, the bad ones are always taking it to the house. Like, in today's NFL, the kick return means nothing. And in reality, because everybody kicks it to the end zone most of the time.
Everything has really changed in the last 10 years. You know what I mean? Like, the days of the Devin Hesters and the Halls and Deion Sanders, they're gone. You know what I mean? Because guys, they don't kick to you. They'll kick it out of bounds. You know what I mean? So even if you had the best punt returner in the world, they're going to kick it out of bounds. Unless you're the Giants and you kick it to Sean Jackson. Hit the buzzer. Adoy. But I'm with Tommy there. You know what I mean? You love it. You know what I mean? All three phases. You love your special teams to be fantastic, and I think it can be. Even without that. It's not. I don't look at it like it's just this big thing anymore. I kind of wish it was. You know what I mean? But even if somebody kicks, even if they do kick it to you, Roach guy's fair catch. There's a halo window. There's all kinds of there's guardian helmets. There's all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? It's just a different time. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to I'm not just trying to pile on today's athlete. I'm just saying it was a different time when you were seeing punt returns. You know what I mean? It was like it just they can afford to kick it to a guy because you can go blow the guy up if you can get there first. And if he makes those two guys miss, night.
What up, Molly?
What up,
Maul? What up, Maul? All right, boys. You guys want to get our crumbs and get out of here for the night?
Sure. Yeah, let's do it. I kind of already went. Mine was going to be the Philadelphia Phillies, and it was going to be for the whatever's happening in center field. The Bradley Zimmer knock. I'm going to stand on the Johan Rojas stool. Right, no reason to bring him up. Right, you brought up Zimmer, and to Mark's point earlier about the 40-man, you had to clear a spot for Zimmer, right? So you had to bring him and put him on the team. But then realizing through the conversation that we had earlier that like a guy like Jalen Ortiz, who's already on the 40-man, yes, I understand doesn't play center field, but with Schwarber DHing right now because of the calf, you can put him in left field, you can put Verling in center, and go to work. It's going to be better than whatever Bradley freaking Zimmer brings you. And even Tommy, to your point, bring back Odubel. I don't care. Like, not Bradley Zimmer, though, right? Like, So that was mine. We kind of already talked about it, how just the bringing up of prospects, it wasn't like we were asking for Rojas, who's 18. Rojas is 22. Ortiz is 23. They've been playing at Double-A for a long time now. Jalen Ortiz can hit the long ball. Rojas stole 52 bases already this year. Like, they bring a skill set that could have helped you, potentially in the 10 to 15 games that they were going to play until Harper comes back, right? Because once Harper comes back, it's all moot point anyway, center field. You know what I mean? Because then Veerling slides in there, Schwarber goes back to left, and Harp's to DH. So it's all a moot point in 2 weeks when he's there. It was just bringing somebody up who might, hey, well, let's light a fire under the kid. Let's see what he has. Let's, one of the two. They're both ready. They're both there. And we watch two teams in our division do it on a regular basis, and it pays off every time for them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just you can talk about it till you're blue in the face. I mean, it's just at some point you got to take a stand. Management, you got to, you got to shoot your shot, as they say. shoot your shot. It's it's the old saying. You miss 0% of the shots you don't take.
So,
yeah, buddy.
Yeah, it was sort of something that I did earlier this week or whenever it was, but I'm tired of these beat reporters. I'm tired of these like inter squad practices that we now chart quarterbacks and we're charting targets and we're claiming wins and losses. Like, I'm just over it. We've never in the history here in Philadelphia had done this. Like, we've never done this. And the biggest culprit of it is Ellis Shore Parks. And, I actually got some heat for my video the other day where people were like, you're a hater of Hurts. And I'm like, I'm not hating on Hurts. My opinion's not going to sway from a good preseason or a bad preseason. Like, this doesn't. It's going to sway on what you do when the lights turn on. That's sports. That's been the history of sports. So, I'm not saying practice doesn't matter. I'm just saying practice stats don't matter.
Stats. I don't need stats for practice.
No. And then one guy told me, well, Nick Sirianni, uses Elliott Shore Parks' stat sheet, for practices. And I'm like, well, then Nick Sirianni should be fired. What does he need that for? I mean, they got enough tape. They're watching it. If the guy looks good, the guy looks good. So, I mean, if you want to tell me hey, this, Jalen's making strides, he looks better, that's a different conversation, right? That's a positive conversation. Like, man, he's looking better. I don't need 10 for 16 and a game-winning touchdown pass in a practice. I don't need it at all. Just tell me, hey, Jalen had a good day today. against the Browns, right, in practice. He had a good day, looked good, looked sharp. Fine, it's your job to report, right? But the job of reporting didn't become stat sheets in practice. Just never has. Your report is if you feel like this guy's developing or not. So no notes, no stats. Is he developing, Elliott, and the other guys that do this? Are these quarterbacks developing in these inner squad practices? Does he look better? Does he look more confident? That's actually good information that I'm not going to poo-poo. But I'm definitely always going to poo-poo what's been going on here. I got no time for it anymore. And I don't know if other teams are doing this, like other teams that beat reporters that are tracking this. Because if they are, I think they should look for, some of these companies should look in a different direction. So I'm not going to go on a big rant. The video's up. The rant's up there on A2D. You can go check it out for yourselves. But I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. Make it stop. When's it going to end? When's it going to end? Again, not hating on the kid. I'm an Eagles fan. I want the kid to be great. Okay, but I'm also going to be objective and say that I don't know what he is yet. I'm also the guy that said last year I was willing to give him his junior year to see if he was the guy. Here we are. And the Eagles said the same thing. So don't get mad at me. The Eagles said the same thing by going and getting A.J. Brown. They said the same thing. We're going to find out if this guy can make the strides we need to find out if he can make. Don't hate me. I'm not. Why would I want him not to be good? Some guys are like, you don't want him to be good. I want him to be great. Come on. Why would I not? I have no agenda with Jalen Hurts. I have zero agenda. He's a great kid. Why would I have an agenda? I'm an Eagles fan. I don't know what he is.
It doesn't make any sense right now.
I just don't know what he is. So what's wrong with that?
Practice stats aren't going to help that.
No, week 1, week 2.
Practice stats do nothing for that.
5 weeks into this year, we'll have a sample size to say, okay, this guy's made strides. I'm not even going to say like 1 week because that's unfair, right? On both counts, right? But in a couple weeks into the season, we're going to say, okay, this guy looks like he's gotten better.
Yeah. Practice is what it is. You know what I mean? In every sport. It's, it's for, working on things and making some adjustments and game plan and whatever it is. It's not for fucking blowing guys. You know what I mean? And we're taking it, we're gripping it so tight where you're like, oh my God, you should see this. It's like, relax, dude. I was also like, and it's not being a hater. It's like, let me know when when it works in, a 30-0 playoff game at Tampa. You know what I mean? Let me know about, let me know how those throws work there. You know what I mean? Like, that's all, like I said, he's a young kid. So, you root for him, giddy up. All right. But it's just calm, just pump the brakes. I know what you're saying. Absolutely. Pump your brakes. It's overkill. You know what I mean? And it would be the same way if somebody was, that far to the other side and killing them for every throw in practice or killing them for every throw in preseason. It's the same thing. So it works both ways in our eyes. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to hear from, the guy that's inhaling him. And I don't need to hear from the guy that's that might be, air quote hating on him. I don't need to hear either side. Just let it play out. You know what I mean? Like, and you can report on what you saw. Hey man, you look good today. You know what I mean? Like, the 7-on-7 drill, threw the ball well, came out of his hand well. Threw the ball. It was very accurate today. That's it. Whatever it is. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be oohs and ahs,
No, it doesn't have to be stats.
Yeah. It's just, I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. Mine, I'll do 2 baseball ones and get us out of here. It could be the Angels every year, and it's, so I'm gonna land on the Angels. 17 games under 500. Coming into the season, I knew they had a little bit of hype around them. 25 games out. With another which was a long time. We didn't find out right now that we're going to have another postseason without Trout or Ohtani. We knew that. We knew that 2 months ago. All right, but it's just just to give you some more bio. Just another postseason without Trout and Ohtani. And I know Trouty was hurt and he's dealing with some stuff and he's He came back. He could have sat out. There's another guy, a huge character guy, which we already know. People that know him, people that don't know him, then you should, maybe should meet him. You know what I mean? There's a guy that could have shut it down. There's 17 games under, got no chance, right? Dealing with some back injuries, comes back because you never know, we talked about this when he was younger. You never know who was watching you for the first time. You know what I mean? And he's always took that with him, and he's, and he's it's just. It makes him who he is, and listen, in another week, maybe they will shut him down. Maybe the doctor will say, hey, enough's enough. You know what I mean? And try to get you healthy. But I think it's coming to a point where, listen, he tried to be, he tried to be loyal. I scratch my head every day and say, man, why did he do it? I understand $400 million. Same thing we told Soto, like, you got to take the money, man. Like, I know why he did it. The security, and he is loyal and all that stuff. But, man, we sure like to see him out of there. And I think it's time for the Angels to make that happen. You know what I mean? It probably doesn't have to be 1 for 9 anymore. You know what I mean? With depending on this, how this injury shakes out, but it could still be, 1 for 4 or 1 for 5, where, Angels can get back some young guys that might be able to help them rebuild, and they give him a shot to, with a perennial playoff team that, he's got a shot, to make the playoffs every year and do something to really, put a stamp on his legacy. You know what I mean? He's still going to go down as one of the best players of all time. We know that, but, we know legends are made in the postseason. This poor guy has never got a chance to do that. You know what I mean? And I understand that. And he wanted to, he didn't want to run like some of these other sports where they want super teams, and he stayed put and was hoping they can build around them. And it just hasn't been. The recipe has been brutal. It's been absolutely brutal, and it's just a shame. You know what I mean? So the Angels are one, and the other one is I saw Chrome comment real quick underneath. The other one's Oliver Marmol. You know what I mean? Pinch hit for Albert last night in the 9th inning. He's 4 for 4. They already got a 9-7 game. They already got a 9-7 lead. It's 2nd and 3rd, no outs. I think he can let one of the greatest hitters of all time, hit in that spot against Mark Melancon. I think that's safe to say. I think that's safe to say, Oliver. So get your face out of the goddamn fucking clipboard, right? Which I know it is, because that's the Cardinal way. But you got to be analytical, all right? All right, Mr. Papers, didn't like him. He did a good job. But, we got to go to Ollie. We got to go to the puppet boy. Now they're still, and then they've done a great job. Right? They're 18 games over 500, doing a great job. Right, so I'm not going to completely kill him, but last night that's uncalled for. The guy's, he's an all-time great. He's 4 for 4. He's obviously white hot right now. He has more home runs than I think they said, like, in the last, since like August, in the last 2 weeks, than like 5 teams. It's crazy. He's got 6 or 7 homers. All right, the guy's 8 homers short of 700. All right, let him play. There's going to be times when you're going matchups, and if he looks like he's old or he's overmatched, then go ahead. You know what I mean? But to hit for him last night was a fucking joke. Shame on you, Oliver. All right, and Ollie, whatever you want to be called. All right, and Albert, I love watching it, buddy. And see if we can get 8 more. See if you got 8 more in you, brother.
Yeah, let's do it. I love watching history. You know what I mean? Like. And a guy who's done it the right way for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And that's why I said, like, even God forbid, I really do hope he gets to 800 or 700, especially this year, because we know as we've talked, he probably isn't coming back next year, even if it is to chase 1 or 2. Just get past A-Rod. Just get past A-Rod and put somebody else like in between that, right? You know what I mean? Put someone who did it the right way above A-Rod. Like, let's get him out as far away as we can.
Yeah, I second that. Yeah,
I said the same thing.
Yeah, but the Crumbs point, absolutely. The guys hit lefties and righties his whole career. You know what I mean? So, we understand. The injuries took their toll on them the last several seasons, and the run in Anaheim wasn't what it was in St. Louis, and that's another, just another black eye on that organization. Would have, how it just sucks the life out of you. You know what I mean? Sucks the life right out of you. You know what I mean, but great to see him, obviously come home. That was, that's, in the beginning of the year, I was absolutely ecstatic about that. And I knew it was going to be limited, but, use your eyes, Ollie. Use your eyes, right? So it might have been limited in the beginning. When the guy's white hot, you let him hit against anybody, right? Righties, lefties, whoever, right? And you got Goldie, who's most likely going to be the MVP, right? Playing first base. So if he needs a day, you give him a day to play first. But if not, you can DH Albert pretty much until he dries up.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's rocket science.
Yeah. It's just, it's 1 + 1 = 2. It's not hard. It's not hard, man. Try not to fuck it up, Ollie. Try not to fuck it up. You got veterans in that clubhouse. You got a lot of studs, and you got some veterans in that clubhouse. And it's good to see the Cardinals doing what the Cardinals do. So we'll see what happens in the postseason, but. It's that
Phillies come rolling in.
It's August. It's August. Check your if you forget what month it is, you can always, when the Cardinals get hot, you're like, oh shit, it's almost time to go back to school. It's almost time to go back to school. It's August time. It's August. Cardinals are hot.
Every year. All right. So big series tomorrow night starts for the Phillies. Reds come to town. Hopefully we can get right and, like we talked about earlier, beat up on the bad teams, find wins against the bad ones. So tomorrow's a big one for the Phils, and we'll
7 at home. Reds, Pirates. Got to go 6-7.
Yeah, I want to say 7.
If not 7-7.
I got to say 7.
I just didn't want to be that greedy, but after this weekend, you got to go minimum 6 or 7.
I think you need a touchdown. Absolutely. I think you got to. You're at the 1 yard line. You got to punch it in. Got to use the big uglies up front. Punch it in.
Yeah, I think at worst you can go 5-2. At worst. That's the worst you can do.
Yeah.
Anything less than that's a big time failure.
Yep.
So that's where I sort of draw my line at. But yeah, 6-7. I'd much rather have that. But if they went 5-2, I'd be like, okay, at least we're taking care of business at home.
Yeah.
That's 3 games over 500, a little run there. So I wouldn't be mad. But we'll see. We shall see. You find a lot out about a team, how they respond back from stuff. Today's a bad loss. So great thing about this sport, always another day. And here we are. Boys, great show. No Wilson tonight. Enjoying himself in Wildwood. Probably pissed drunk, trying to hit on some 18-year-olds. Probably not going well for him. That's Greg Milakovic down below. Nick DelGozzo over to my left. Maybe your left. Maybe you're right. Who knows? I'm Tom Arnone. As always, every Sunday, we thank you guys for joining us. If you haven't, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Stick around for a while. Tons of live shows here on A2D. We got something for everybody.
Still looking out for that left foot, too. Heads up, Usman. Greg, the resident MMA guy on the way out. I'm sorry, but watch out for that left foot, bro. Zoinks.
Wow. Night-night. Night-night.
Oh, we went night-night.
Every Sunday, we're brought to you by our doc, Make Him Yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, locations in Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. I might have said Princeton earlier. If I did, that's on me. We love you all for listening. Appreciate you. We're out of here.